Yo, how is it going everyone? Welcome back to another episode of SoloQ VOD Review, the series where we look at what I did right and wrong in my SoloQ competitive games, so we can all grow and get better at CS2. Today we head to Inferno to look at some great, efficient T-side play in an otherwise CT side environment. We're also going to be talking about practice, warm-up, and how to approach improving your aim at CS2. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Every time you do so, it helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm, as the majority of you who watch these videos are not, in fact, subscribed. Make sure you also take a second and go follow me on Twitch. I stream CS2 every single night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so come hang out, come say hi, and let's get right into the VOD review. Now, first things first, I'm going to need all the AllenIverson fans to please take a seat and remain calm, because it's time to talk about practice. Contrary to popular belief, you're not going to practice CS2 by loading up and insta-queuing Premiere. You gotta do some external help to try and grow as a player, whether that's finding and developing new smoke setups, learning ones you find online, maybe from my videos, who knows, using external resources like aim labs or Steam Workshop maps to try and further practice and refine your game. Or simply loading up a deathmatch for once in your life and getting in there and learning how to click some heads. These are all things that you need to incorporate into your routine if you're going to be a goal-oriented, driven person to work at improving at the game, and admittedly, I am really lazy about this, which is why I'm currently committed to a new routine where right now, what I'm doing when I get ready to play CS every day, I'm taking 20 minutes of my time, I'm loading up aim labs, I'm doing some warm-up. I go into game, I load up some deathmatch, I do some warm-up. I make sure I get thoroughly loose and ready to go before I even consider hitting the Q button on competitive. Now, unfortunately, I gotta be real with you guys, there is no one simple trick here. This does not instantly give you 6 inches on your cock length, but what it will do is inspire good habits so that you can develop and grow as a player. You're not gonna warm up every day and then go drop 40 frags. However, you're sure as hell gonna have a better chance of doing so than if you go in cold turkey. So make sure you take some time, balance out your schedules, and learn how to practice. One thing to note, I've also been looking into some other third-party websites and applications to learn more and develop more strategies for warming up. One of those websites I ran into recently was refrag.gg. It's a website with a huge resource of training game modes as well as utility breakdowns for all the maps. Now, for the sake of disclosure, I did reach out to one of the owners of Refrag and they gave me a 7-day trial code to try out their product. I'm not sponsored, but I am here to give you an honest opinion of what I've seen so far. And I think there's a lot of potential out of a website like this. The Utility Hub alone is something that's very interesting to me as someone who develops a lot of their own smoke lineups, because there are hundreds, if not thousands, of resources here for learning new pop flashes, smokes, mollies, etc. Expect a video in the near future where I go further in depth on what Refrag has to offer, as I'm really excited about this product, and I'm super thankful they gave me an opportunity to try it out. Anyways, let's get into the VOD review and take a look at what's going on in Inferno. Alright, well the game's going to start off pretty standard here. We're going to go in, we're going to lose the pistol, it is what it is. We lose the next round on the full save, but almost win. It comes down to a 1v1, just not quite enough, which is disappointing, but again, you expect to lose this round, no big deal. We go into our first buy round. This ends up being kind of a slow round where we work picks. I get a pick towards A on the late rotate. We take A site and we get to plant and win the round. Something to note, we'll talk about this more later on in the video, but Inferno right now is super dependent on your ability to take the A side on T side. So we're going to cover that more in depth in just a second. Round after, kind of the same thing, just a routine, move up, play picks, take A late, get the round win. And then moving on to round 5, we just have something interesting to talk about, so let's take a closer look. Alright, so the round's going to start here, and just like in the prior rounds, me and the team are going to spread out to try and take some map control. Thus far, the CTs have not been playing aggressive for banana control, so they're not really dealing with many smokes, mollies, or nades at the beginning of the round. So I'm going to walk over here, I'm going to pop flash my teammate into banana in case someone tries to rush for the car peek. Then I'm going to join him at the barrels to try and take some control while we wait out the one smoke the CTs have thrown. Thankfully, no nades raid down upon us, and we're able to wait it out. We're going to start putting some utility down to deny sandbags control, and once the smoke clears, I'm going to follow it up with the Molotov and get ready to start clearing my corners. And the theme for this video is you need to play every single corner like someone's behind it. Pre-fire everything, check everything. Don't let a rat get the best of you, because look, this guy's half wall. He pushed in front of the Molotov. He could have gone to kill there if I wasn't looking for it. I back off here, and now it's time to employ some fake tactics to draw attention away from the A site for my teammates. We're going to throw the CT smoke. We're going to push up towards the sandbags, take a peek. Admittedly, not the most committal fake in the world, just a couple of shots, a little bit of bait, just see what the CTs might be doing. It is enough though. The CTs do overcommit to the intel with the CT smoke. They pull back towards the arch side, they over-rotate to B, gives my teammates room to take side control and allow me to come A late with the bomb. And at this point, it's 5v2, we get the bomb down, and that's a round win. So that's just really efficient map control from us on the T side, and that's what it takes to win Inferno nowadays. You can't let the CTs dominate and play at their own pace. You give them apartments control, you give them bananas control. It's just too much. So you need to be proactive and aggressive, while also being mindful of that deadly utility the CTs can rain down. And here in this round, we strike a good balance. Alright, short little round here before we talk more about taking A in depth. The biggest thing about Inferno is utility. You need really good utility to even approach the map. So here is another round where we're going to start. We're about halfway through the round here. I'm creeping up mid with our teammates, and I'm going to set up for this smoke. I developed the smoke myself. It's for Moto. It's amazing. And what it does is it completely blocks Moto and library. It takes a while to get there, but it's great. But while we're doing that, we're going to take arch control. Normally you would push boiler and pinch with apps onto the site with this smoke. And so we're going to throw off the CTs here by creeping up archway without them knowing. Thankfully there's no one library, there's no one CT, so we don't get spotted out. And now with our teammates going boiler and apps late, I can just walk through the smoke and hey, turns out there's a guy sitting on A site who had no idea that was going to happen. And that's a great subversion of expectations. That CT saw that smoke coming down, thought he was safe, thought it was a wall, but nope, we're right there to push through it. That blows up the site and gives us the round. That's the kind of plays you got to make at the high level.
Jumped up to the app. And apartments right now. Yeah.
So let's use the back half of this video to talk about attacking the A site specifically. Because with the current state of the Inferno meta, if you can't take A, you're going to lose your T sides pretty much all the time. Because competent teams at the higher levels of play are going to make taking banana a nightmare. That's either going to have to require you to wait out the rounds to the very end or exploit gaps in their utility. Otherwise, it's just a no-go. The utility spam is just too strong, the hallways are too narrow, makes B an absolute nightmare to deal with. So what do we need to do to take the A site properly? Well, what we need to do is set up things in such a way that we break up the strong crossfires, whether that's smoking either side of the mid, boiler, or arch, smoking library, smoking pit, mauling into pit, nading into pit. We need to do anything we can to make sure the CTs can't crossfire you from multiple angles, because when you leave things too exposed, the CTs can pick you apart one by one, and it doesn't matter what you do at that point because you're just going to lose the trade war. So first things first, just quickly going over some utility that might be helpful to you. That smoke from Moto that I threw earlier in the video, you smash it to this trash can, you look up at the roof above you, you're at the bottom of this wood stake correlating to the corner of the window, and then it's just a jump throw. It sails, it takes a while to get there, approximately like 10 seconds, but it lands perfectly in the middle of Moto. And the best part about this smoke is that it is in the exact right spot to where you can't see around it from inside Moto. And importantly, players who are coming up balcony apartments are not exposed to library players looking over the top, which could be a problem with some other lineups for that smoke. For me and how I like to play Inferno as kind of the third person in, this is a smoke that I throw almost every single round. So if you're someone who isn't entering very often, is often the last person coming into the bomb site, this is probably the best smoke you can throw on the map. Now that's great for default rounds, but what are we going to do maybe when we need to push A fast? Well, assuming you have a teammate smoke arch side, I like to smoke the front of pit to try and get a fast plant off. To do that, you're going to line up here against this wall next to Mexico, you're going to look up at the Dolce sign in front of you, and we're putting our crosshair between the bottom of the L and C, right in between the two letters, and executing a jump throw. This smoke gets there very fast, lands right in front of the truck, and obscures pit and graveyard. This allows you to run up boiler, quickly fight the guy who might be playing sight, and get a plant off in the safe corner. You also might want your teammates to push pit at the same time to try and isolate that player, but the goal here is on like an SMG buy or a force buy to try and get a plant off as fast as possible. That's the purpose of this smoke. I find this smoke to be less useful on full buy rounds, as oftentimes you just want to pinch the pit player together as the boiler and apartment players push onto site. Speaking of the apartment players, in my opinion, if you are going apartments, your sole mission in life should be to take care of the pit player. That being said, you should be throwing this pit Molotov pretty much every time you do so if you can. What you're going to do here is you're going to line up on this middle bar on the railing just to the right of the fire exit wood pole. You line up there, you look towards the balcony entrance, and what you're aiming for is this half wall in the distance, and you see those barbed wires, you're going to aim kind of just below them. I'm scoping them with the op here so that you can see exactly where my crosshair is. Once you see this a few times in game, you know where to look, and then it's a simple left click throw. This goes through the doorway, bounces off the wall into pit, and it isolates the pit wall so that players have to move into the middle of the pit and expose themselves as you push. You pair that up with the chimney flash, which you can throw from the same location, which will pop flash sight and the pit player, and at that point, you just need the waterfall. Remember, you are the apartment player. Your sole job is to take care of pit. You're going to have to rely on your teammates here, and that's the difficult part. The boiler players need to back you up and clear sight at the same time, so you can focus on the fight balcony and pit. Because if you can clear the pit player, your teammates are almost guaranteed to get site control. Conversely, if you're the boiler player, you need to put trust in your apartment players to clear pit and focus solely on clearing the site and the front of Moto. It is your job to take care of those players so that your teammates can do what they need to do in the pit. That's usually the role I like to play, and that's why I throw the Moto smoke from mid. I'm pushing up boiler, I'm clearing site, I'm looking at the headshot angle first, clearing the middle box, and then clearing the creep spot on the left side of a site to make sure there's no lurkers. But you need to do that with confidence that your teammates are going to take care of pit. If your teammates die in pit, you should secure the site first before you turn around. That is your job pushing boiler. Also at the end of this, I was messing around and I found a nice little flashbang though, a full flash sight. You could throw it when you're running through boiler and it doesn't blind your teammates at all, which is pretty nice. All you gotta do when you're pushing over boiler is frankly just huck it over the apartments. It's pretty easy, never really thought of doing it before, but I was messing around and I found this flash to be pretty good. Here's some examples of what it might blind. So we focus a lot on the T side in this VOD review because frankly the CT side was pretty boring. We entered the half 8-4 going into the second half, and honestly the only rounds we lost were the first 4 rounds after the pistol loss because our economy wasn't right. As soon as our economy got straightened out, we literally just went and won the game 12-7 because that's just the state of Inferno right now. The only real thing of interest was my teammate here hitting this insane clutch round on an eco on B side with the Deagle, went absolutely sicko mode with that flick shot. So shout out to that guy. That play was pretty insane. But that is kind of just the state of Inferno right now. It really is more interesting to talk about the T side because the T side has to struggle a lot more to get anything done. If you can hold your angles and use your utility, the CT side is a goddamn breeze right now because the utility is so overpowered on Inferno. Anyways, long story short, another win for the OG and one step closer to being ranked on Inferno. Are there any specific maps you guys want to see me play in this series? Let me know in the comments down below. If you guys found this utility and this breakdown useful, make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you subscribe for more content coming your way. And I'll see you soon with another video. Check me out on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ1337, linked in the description down below. And I'll see you soon. Later. Peace.